rise
Our
from the
our
ashes
our
at
fucking
any
title, our title is so not that one. That's the end. No, not that one. That's not the right one either. Ah, there it is. There it is. What's up, guys? I am sorry for the slightly negative title to our
slightly
video.
negative. So now, as the passive aggressive woman in the group, it says, "No, it's fine. You can go with your friends."
Man, I'm just so overweighting,
it's
man.
Good you put words on all our feelings, so it's fine.
Yeah. I'm so done waiting, dude. I just want to like rent like I don't know a boat or like get a kayak, start fishing, maybe start noodling. I don't know. The idea of a catfish biting my hand and picking up like a 60-pound fish out of the water seems like a
By
good.
the way, that is the weirdest shit ever, and only the South can do that.
I would 100% do that right now. It's
by
better
the
to go
way, do you know
noodling
what
than
noodling
sit
is,
around
Daniel?
noodling thinking about what ninth is going to be because that's just blowing
Yeah,
my mind
No,
now.
I don't know what noodling is.
Literally, noodling
I like
is
ramen noodles.
no, it's just hillbilly shit.
No.
You literally
It's the best.
put your hand in underwater in a hole where catfish are, and they literally just bite your hand, and then you just pull out a catfish.
Oh, both Americans and American fish are stupid.
Yeah, and look,
See?
hey, not like small fish either. They're like big fish. I gotta probably mute her voice because I will get like this her video. But like, look at the kind of fish she'll pull out of this thing. Let me show you. So she has her hands right there underneath. For the viewers online, we're showing a video of Hannah. She's Hannah Barron. She's one of the most famous noodlers in the world, and she weighs like 100 pounds. She's like 5 foot something, and she catches like 60 something pound fish. Noodling, which right now is a more successful hobby than waiting for ninth, right? Or deciding to play eighth. I'm seeing these like groups make podcast videos of like, hey, we're testing ninth. Well, not really, because they're just testing what was released, which is like half of every rule. Right, Brad?
I'm not gonna lie. My problem with that is still when they were talking about the tank and the monster rule, they literally listed everything that's in it, and then at the end went, and other things. Why not give the whole fucking rule?
Daniel,
it's
look
so crazy.
Fish. Daniel, look at this
I
fish.
see a small girl getting a huge fish.
This is insane, dude. Look at this thing. It's like literally half her body. It's the craziest thing ever.
With sharks as well. You should try that.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't recommend that. That's actually one of the most common injuries in this hobby is they'll stick their hand in a hole to get one of these fish, and it's actually a bull shark, a shark that actually lives in the regular water.
That seems extremely stupid.
Yes, because again, it happens down south.
Yeah.
By the way, can we take a moment to understand like how far we as Gentlemen Gaming hosting a podcast have come right now? We have this whole NDI setup rolling right now, right? With all three of our cameras. I'm sharing my screen. We're in the Skype. I'm on YouTube. Zero glitches. I mean, let's just take a quick pause and say, wow, like we've come a long way from Beetlejuice cameras.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy stuff, dude. Pretty crazy stuff.
Do you think it's okay if I sue Games Workshop if I become an alcoholic waiting for a month?
Yeah, you may. I mean, you decided not to do what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is woodworking, working in my backyard. I'm doing a lot of landscaping. I'm doing a lot of stuff like that. Daniel's just sitting in the corner of a pool drinking all day thinking about what Ninth might have, might not have. I don't know. I'm bored of it. I mean, when they had the 3-hour episode, they released, Mike Brandt's the new Jesus, and we're rolling out a tournament scene. Where is it? Give it to me. Where's the rules? Where's the app? Come on. I'm already over it now. Like, I literally am going to put everything on eBay. If anyone wants something, just let me know.
You have so much stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's like the number one reason why I don't sell anything, because it would take forever.
Rich has a better one of that. At this rate, you can sue them for dying of old age.
Dude, tell me about it, man. And the fact, so Brad is under NDA, and he's not telling us the full rules, and he's upset that I interrupted him right there, which is amazing, and I love it. And there's a button for that. Where is that button? I don't know which one it is. Damn it, I'll find it later. I think it's this one.
With the salt?
It's this one. Oh no, it's on it's on our 4-person template. Damn it. Robert,
that'll be at the bottom.
Wherever you are, Robert, I hate you right now. But GW is releasing rules, and then every time I talk to Brad, he's like, yeah, that's only part of the rule. They haven't released the whole rule. I can't tell you the rest, but I can't say anything else. It's just not the full rule.
It's so irritating.
And I'm like, then what's the point of releasing anything at all? Because if I don't have a full picture, like what's... Oh, man. And the idea to buy stuff right now? Okay, I'm done with my rant. Go ahead, Brad.
No, it's just fucking like Wyatt had it right. The word on this, like I said, the two rumors are one, they're either going to time it with one of the pre-releases, but I don't understand if they're going to put out any pre-release or pre-orders. If you're going to pre-order something, you're going to do it because you know what the new game is. They're talking maybe it releases in July, and that's just fucking nuts.
Who's talking that? Who? Because whenever I talk to somebody, people. No, yeah, exactly. All right, I talk to our friends in the hobby, and they're like, "Oh, I heard it's coming out in June," or "I heard it's going to go on pre-order July." Who'd they hear it from? I mean, they're all just making up shit. Nobody heard shit from nobody. They just want to be cool. Hey, I heard, and then later when it happens to come out in July, they'll be like, "Yeah, see, I told you it's coming out in July." See. No, it's a whole freaking month. Like, okay, yeah, eventually it's going to come out. Somebody's going to be right. But when is it coming out? I don't know. I'm just going to play with lightsabers from now on. That's all I'm going to do.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to talk about a game I played with 9th edition today.
In 9th?
In 9th. With 9th. Well, I don't even know the final points either. I'm not going to lie. I have proposed points. So even my points are like, maybe. you might be right. I don't have the final, so... I make lists with new.
Yeah, but your game that you're playing in 9th, it will not be aired or anything like that, and it's with people who have all signed an NDA, right?
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm just saying, like we test all the time. It's just, and the thing is like you'll like 9th. I hope you like 9th. I've said this like 100 times, and everybody's going to be like 9th edition. I hate it. Fuck Brad.
I mean, by the time it comes out, my hobby might be automotive, and I might be rebuilding like a tranny on like some old muscle car. I don't know.
You'll be living your life a quarter mile at a time.
Maybe, bro. Maybe. I don't know, I mean, I'm getting old here. Like,
my bad, Rich.
I tell you, man, if I have a kid before 9th comes out, I'm not playing no 9th, I'll tell you right now.
Love the quote. Just finished playing 9th equals a dagger to my heart right now, Brad. I mean, in good news, if there was any tournaments, and speaking of not being any tournaments, let's talk about rest in peace Nova today.
There was nothing anybody could do, guys. Yeah, it's 100%.
Yes, but it's officially.
Chance it won't happen.
No,
I just like I said, you guys certainly.
That's gonna happen.
Oh,
and now, guys, with these protests and stuff going on. Oh, dude, the Russian slap hobby. Oh my God!
That's
all right,
crazy,
Wyatt, you just segued this entire podcast for a solid 5
that
minutes.
Big dude, I cannot stop watching that little bitty dude that was fighting that giant.
I saw that guy too. It was insane.
He knocks him into another dimension.
Yeah, it was insane, dude. It was insane. Oh man, I love that. I hate when they pre-flinch though. I think that's like a thing that they try to practice because they come so like the guy puts his hand here to test it, and then when he actually goes in for the slap, some guys they kind of move a little with the actual hand.
I think you lose that round if you do that.
Well, if you move too much, they make him. They give him the ability to slap him again because you move too much. That doesn't count.
You basically
you bitched out, right? But I think some guys are really good at almost like they're trending. They're like very close to the line of bitching out.
Yeah, they roll
and taking
with
it. Yeah, they roll with it exactly. Like Brad
same
said.
thing you do with you roll with a punch though. They're doing it trying to time the slap basically.
Yeah, no, that's.
Yeah, only the Russians would come up with some shit like that. Like, I'm bored. What should we do? Hey, how about we blast each other in the face until somebody gives up?
Yeah.
Like, what are the rules? No, that's it. That you just hit each other.
Yeah, those are the rules. We're not going to leak the rules over a period of months in like small parts. Like, hey, you take the index finger, you put it up, then you take the ring finger, you put it up, and they walk you through making a hand. No, we're not doing that. Like, we're just going to tell you, hey, hit the guy, and
last
guy standing wins, right? So
let me give you a leak, Alan. Here's Jude.
Yeah, no, dude, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And then Brad's all like excited to get on here because he's known about this stuff and he wants to talk about it, but he knows like way more. And like I can't match that. I mean, I had it. I was here. I was there. Like I was with you guys, but then after a little while of thinking about it, I just got mad. So
but like,
I apologize.
We know enough now where we can talk about strategies a little bit. Can we not? Can we talk about that? I mean, I see you're not in the zone anymore.
We can talk about whatever you want. I mean, we've talked about noodling and we've talked about Russian slap fighting. We can surely talk about 40K strategy.
No, it's just because of the fact that you're going to have to bring armies that now have to deal with, especially in the beginning. Because even if they're not good, you're going to see people bringing out they're going to dust off every tank that they have, and they're going to dust off every monster that they have and put them on the board because they're at least viable. So it might not be the best army, but the first couple, even small tournaments you're going to go to, as I have the hiccups like a child, great.
Yeah, that's weird.
Are going to have to deal with that though. You know what I mean? So I think your armies are going to have more ability to take out hard targets, and you might have to do that. I'm playing a lot of character hammer right now, guys, and I'm actually bringing my list. We won't say what I did, but I played sets of the game, and the list was this. You can try to figure out the points yourself. It was 4 Harlequin characters, a Solitaire, Troop Master, Shadow Seer, 12 Haywire bikes, 12 troops, 2 units of 5 troops, and then I brought 6 Talos and Homunculus with the Vexator Basque, and I actually brought something different, but from now on I'm going to bring Jazar, and I brought like all the Haywire basically to fuck with bikes, and then I brought all the melee to punch people, because if you can't take care of a monster, you can always just punch it in the face before it gets to shoot you. And you can there's lots more tactics that go on with that. Especially, I like the fact that you basically have a wide open board. I was actually talking to Rich actually messaged me about that. He's like talking about Harlequins and that. And he goes, I don't know anything about Dark Elder. I'm like, well, I'm going to talk about it in a podcast in about 10 minutes if you want to watch. He's like, better give me a shout out. I'm like, I will indeed. But I think the big shit, like Talos, man, like Daniel, I know you've got those somewhere in the house, but those things are going to do work, man. You got to figure that they've got 2 different options, you know, punch hard or punch a lot, 5 or 10, and then they've got haywire shots. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that shit, and that takes out so much nonsense. Because even if you got something that's super hard to kill, you're like, oh, my T8 Dreadnought that can now shoot 27 times into combat is walking up on you, and you're like, all right, well, cool. Don't you take mortals on a 4? Yeah? Well, here's a lot of them. Just die.
Yeah. I was thinking, since vehicles moving don't get any penalty, like just Space Marine vehicles and Master of the Forge seems solid.
Well, that's the thing is that you can.
It's like it's Iron Hands.
Yeah.
That also never made sense that a vehicle moving would make its weapons not fire as well. Like that's what vehicles are designed to do.
It also doesn't make sense that one guy would give +1 to hit to every vehicle within 6 inches.
Well,
it depends on how big his cock is.
No, because here's the thing, guys. I mean, Britt's very inspirational to my car. It drives better and faster if she's near it. She just has to be within 6 feet of the car. Works so much better. It just knows she's there.
It might. You never know, dude. Britt's got a lead foot.
Robert decided that he was out in the sun drinking, and it's not Tuesday, so he couldn't be on. He said it was almost sure. He wasn't 100% sure.
Who's actually asking for Robert? I missed this.
Neil.
Oh.
His IT man face. He couldn't IT himself. His assistant. He was not the administrator of his own body. He had to go to sleep.
Yeah, dude. I was a little bit upset that Robert
happens if you drink in the sun, though.
Yeah, drinking in the sun is rough. Can create some hard problems. Make sure you guys stay hydrated with water out there. So it's a real take. Real take.
It's a real that's everything, and that's the end of the podcast, guys.
Brad's all about vehicles and Taloses and shit, some haywire stuff and some nonsense. I'm telling you guys, man, stay hydrated. Okay, don't be not drinking that water on a regular basis.
Depends what you drink, though. I did talk about Tyranids. That could be you don't want to drink the water after the Tyranids get there, dude. You can't drink the water after Tyranids have been in there.
I don't know what would happen. Would I become like part Tyranid? Like, would it be like that movie with that dude in District 8? That's the movie, District 8. It's like he became
District 9.
It's District 9.
You have the precursor. You have the early one.
It's not District 9 yet. It's probably District 9.
Yeah, exactly. Daniel coming in with the hard shots. I love it.
Nah, dude. I'm getting tired, Brad. Get me hyped up. Tell me something else.
Okay, watch this. Okay, I played this game, threw down. Okay, played against a bunch of different monsters and shit. And the thing is that when I'm making lists now and trying to figure it out, you have to basically get who's got the best bang for your buck, man. You need characters. I've been playing a lot of semi-character hammer on this too, because when you're talking about the ability to kill infantry, when you get talking about the ability to kill tanks or monsters, and you need the actual a dude that can do both, because also everything's going up in points. So you got to figure out who basically gives you the most economy, man. So everybody's got to have multiple roles. That's why I like those bikes, and I like those talences, man.
So what you're saying is a good use of my time as a player who has an army pretty much for every race. Or if you have, let's say, 3 or 4 different races at your house and you want to make an optimized list right away for 9th, let's ignore the fact that COVID's not going anywhere and who cares with tournaments. But let's say you have some small local ones and you want to get going. Would it be a smart idea, Brad, for me to prepare like an Excel sheet right now of all the points for everything right now today, and then the moment 9th drops, I see the differences and I kind of target the units that didn't go up as much?
100%. I'm literally trying to cherry pick, and I don't know 100% the final points, but that's what I'm focusing on, is things that have the most volume for the least amount of point adjustment effectively.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you're getting a phone call.
Cultists.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
So Chaos Cultists. They only went up 2 points.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, they were already terrible. They were already terrible. They should have went down 2 points.
Yeah. I'm fairly confident that Nick Rose will have some type of file that shows you all the points differences that he didn't do because he doesn't actually do any work. Steven Prampreen will do it and give it to him.
I was just about to say that. Steven's going to definitely get the file.
Steven probably already has it, like, as a guess. Like, it's a close representation of what it'll be, and then he'll just go in and make some changes to it. And then, I don't know, Steven may ask his brother to make it automated. Who knows? But there will be a document circling around, and it will probably show you all of the discrepancies in the points. And I'm assuming that GW didn't go up like static 20% on troops or 15% on this or 20.
No, but
it's probably like all over the place.
I want to respond to both of those. Gary, it's not really on 1750, and Wyatt, you're welcome for the pro tip. But no, certain things went up. I mean, if you had a unit that was supposed to be problematic, it probably got hit worse than others.
Yeah.
So people ask me all the time, they're like, is it like playing 1600, 1800? I'm like,
no.
It literally depends on what you're bringing. You know what I mean? Because certain things got way higher pointed up.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be shocked to see if Gratz got destroyed and you can't run a 300 Grat army anymore. You can't even probably run a 200 Grat army anymore. I wouldn't be shocked to see Gratz go up to like 5 points. Whereas Orc Boys maybe go up to 7 or 8 at the most. And I think the differences between the two become much bigger when you start talking about how many actual models can I fit in 2000. I think that's the kind of stuff you're going to see. So I mean, because Grots are being abused, right? We all know that. We've seen those crazy armies. So I think that's the kind of stuff I'm expecting to see. I'm expecting to see stuff like that. Like they'll just kill something, like kill a build. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like Grots will be okay, like a 30-man unit if you want for backfield or for screening with Grot Shield. But like taking 300 and that's your strategy, that's bye. Say bye. I don't think it's going to be there.
No, there's certain things here up, and I'm basically going to try to optimize. But the thing is you have to optimize also with your roles. You know what I mean? Because certain things are going to have to take on more stuff.
A lot of people are talking about making 1750 lists. Keep in mind, guys, today you may have an army with 3 detachments, right? And you may have, I needed a battalion and a battalion and a battalion because I wanted to get all my CP. Well, guess what? Now take the troops of one of those battalions because you need those troops to get some OPSEC in your list. You might need a real battalion. But then with the other two, you might not need a battalion. You might be able to take other things, and you still have the same amount of CP, but you just literally got rid of tax, like 6 units of troops and a couple things here and there, and you move them around and tweak them, and you have the same CP, less of the attacks, and basically the same functional list. So.
Jonas and the Hizzy. Same thing, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. Like, for instance, the list that I was playtesting the last week was that it was a battalion and a spearhead, and I brought the other list that mirrored that was a battalion and an outrider. There's no reason for me to take like, for instance, chaos. I'm not going to take extra shit chaos troops. I'm not going to take extra now even more overpriced cultists. So basically, and a lot of this might be just one battalion now. Tell you the truth, man. I'm looking at my Raven Guard list that I played, all last year.
I think everybody will take a Supreme maybe too.
Yeah, the Supreme seems, why not? It depends, of course. You don't have to. The only thing you can put there is like one HQ or one big guy, right? So it's not super useful.
Yeah, but the thing is with that though, like for instance, I was saying that my Raven Guard army. One, I think you could put your army. Alan, you're going to suffer because you want to have multiple cultures. But Daniel, your army that you're playing, actually, sorry, your army you're playing earlier was multi. It was Blood Angels, Raven Guard. But you could take your Chaos list, and basically take all the good shit that you wanted and basically condense it down to a battalion.
Yeah, yeah. I'm working on building a Necron army now, so. I'm trying to.
I'm very excited for you guys for Necrons.
Yeah, I got all my Necron stuff ready to go, and then I just got super not happy about the fact that the game isn't out yet. So I have no idea what direction to take. So,
you guys want to talk about? Go ahead.
I was super excited about building armies for like 2 days after I saw the, and then
it went away.
Drinking wine by the pool.
Well, let's drink wine by the pool. Let's talk about blast weapons, guys, because I've been pretty psyched about this for a while. And they released the fact that basically if it's a unit has 6 to 10 models, you basically get auto 3 attacks. And if it's 11 or more, you auto get 6 on any blast. So you can actually take big weapons. Something like a...
Flamer is also blast now, or is it just blast?
Just blast.
Okay. So flamers suck more than blast now.
It depends
they out or so. Yeah.
Well, certain things though. I mean, they actually did a thing on the GW page. They actually went like a Barb Strangler actually gets fairly good, against hordes because you're getting an auto 6 shots. Death Strike missile, D cannons are actually maybe still too short of range and too expensive. Squig launcher for you, Alan. But 5th edition. Thanks, Blast.
Launcher. Get that Squig launcher back. Yeah.
So,
I do love
just wants to see that pool, baby. Flamers can shoot in combat.
Those bubble chucks are working again. Whatever they're called in the work.
Bubble chuckas, yes.
Dude, I gotta make that army. I've been dying to make
your idea for that is hilarious, by the way.
I have to make that. That's gonna be it's gonna be a thing.
Petards. Yeah, blast weapons can't shoot into combat, but flamers can shoot into combat. But I do like the idea of blast weapons shooting, just getting good shots. Because, I mean, how often do you even shoot? How often do you bother taking something like an auxiliary grenade launcher for 1 point for Marines right now? If we're just talking about regular 8th edition,
yeah, never.
I'll take one all day long if I can get auto 6 shots.
6 shots, yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely be something to consider taking.
Yeah,
I mean,
shoot 6 back grenades.
I'm just like I said, I'm just waiting for these rules to come out, and I think we'll have some really energizing podcasts the moment they come out. We'll just be arguing back and forth on the right way to go with certain things. But right now, what I'm looking at doing is at least trying to set up like a plan to have some type of community tournament scene going on the moment we can. So I don't know what's going to go on with all the protesting. So I'm fairly confident, given my career background, that it's going to cause a spike, and I don't know what that's going to do. But I'm hoping that it doesn't, and we start seeing the state in Illinois at least go up to 50 people. I don't know what's going on with you, Daniel, but I'm hoping we get to 50 people that could be in a single spot, and then we can start having some small 16, 20-person tournaments.
We're still at 50 people.
I hate you. So lucky.
Ohio's opening up more, so I could actually do that.
I'll drive out there.
I'll run some stuff in the game room. I'll definitely have you over. Yeah. Well, I'm going to, literally, as soon as 9th edition hits, I put it this way. Anybody that lives anywhere near me, which is Toledo, Ohio.
So that's not very many people.
So
I mean, it depends on how you define near.
Both people that live near me, there's at least one on that lives within an hour of me. But all the people that live around me, literally the second 9th edition hits, I'm gonna run like the next day. That weekend,
unless ninth edition is releasing like early July, and then all the COVID outbreak starts to like spike up again, and then everything closes
I'm
again.
literally going to ignore it, and I'm going to run a super secret tournament.
You just broadcasted that in the internet, and
don't worry about it. No one's going to narc on me.
So yeah, no,
he would be the best in Finland in 10 years.
I really want to get that going, because that's kind of like the blood of like the whole hobby, right? Is really the ability to get together, and without that, it's kind of dying for me, to be honest. I need it.
You need the tournaments. I was talking to Jonas, who's on this on the chat about sort of how do you guys in Finland feel about ninth? Because I talked to another Finnish guy, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm selling everything. GW is just trying to make money on me now." And me and Jonas were both like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay around as long as it doesn't get as bad as end of seventh, because 80% of the hobby is really meeting and hanging out with great people, right?"
Yeah. Yeah, and even close groups. Like I even miss just like my usual guys coming over to the house and just playing on this table behind me. We just get games and stuff. Like especially like around Adepticon time, it's like really busy, and we have a lot of games. I don't even want to hear it from you, Brad. You're playing like 3 times a week.
No, we're talking. Wyatt just fucking went next level. He's like Elon Musk in this chat right now. He goes, protests are up to 100. So if you make your tournament a protest with proceeds going to charity, kosher.
Sure.
So
I can do that.
I'm going to start running 40K protests. So also bring your models. It's a protest, but we'll play while we're there.
Yeah. By the way, guys, this is going to be a protest. This is what we're protesting. So if anyone asks, by the way, this is what we're saying. So that's pretty funny, though.
That's next level genius, baby. Love it. And that's what we're doing. That will be the first tournament I run. A protest.
So Gary said 1750 is the new TK. I don't think you're going to feel that, Gary. I think you're going to feel like the lists are pretty much the same. Like Brad went through his army, and he was like, this is what I'm going to take for ninth. He didn't say any points, but it feels like the same army of a ninth army.
It's very,
he's missing some tax.
2,000 points.
Dude, it's the same thing. They're all going to be 2,000-point armies. You're just losing some tax here and there, and maybe a unit here. But mainly, you're going to be losing tax. That's the main thing you're losing.
A lot of armies are losing. I mean, I'm telling you right now, making a chaos list, screw it around, not having to take, if you want to take two detachments, not having to take all those nonsense troops.
Yeah,
and shit like that.
That's where you're saving the points. And HQs too. Sometimes, honestly, I don't even want that second HQ in that battalion, but I have to take them. You know what I mean? Like I don't want them sometimes, or like or I want a Vanguard, right? But I only want 2 units of elites, not that third, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that third, or whatever the case may be, right? I feel like that happens all the time when making lists in the current edition or the previous edition. Currently, we're in the Phantom edition, so
we are definitely in the Phantom zone. Like no one's ever been in the Phantom zone.
I got a local friend here, close friend of mine.
Alan has been fighting in the Phantom zone a bit.
Oh yeah, I fight. Be careful of the Phantom Zone. It will tear your chest out.
You should have asked how many summoning points Daniel had when he was at the house, and you would have found out that he had some extra points.
It was all the dice. It was every dice there was in the pin. So.
Exactly why I don't know. I mean, I have one up, and I can get more excited about it because I have the other rules. But like, I'm so digging making this in the thought process of all the new. But we could still theorize on it because you know the tanks are going to be there. You know monsters are not going to be there.
Well, I don't know all the rules.
I'm super happy you're excited.
But I don't know all the rules. Brett, honestly, I don't even know how Brad does this. There was a point in my life where I was like, man, I really want to be a tester. That'd be cool. I can help with GW and help the rules and stuff like that. Do you know how pissed I would be if I knew all the rules of the next edition for like a year or like 6 months before it would come out? Like, I don't know how you do it. Like I would basically not want to play the existing game and just want to go to the new game.
Can I tell you what's one thing that did make me very happy and very sad at the same time?
Sure.
You guys remember how my army of Space Wolves and Blood Angels got ruined?
Twilight, yeah.
By Twilight? Well, I got a package in the mail. One was a shirt that said Team Edward, unless Jacob has his shirt off. I got this bobblehead doll of Jacob and a Twilight tote bag to carry my army in from someone, and I just put it all on. Now it's on my computer list. So now that my list has been ruined. I told you guys how cool I thought it was, how thematic and amazing fucking my Blood Angel Space Ghost was, and then it became Twilight, and it lost a lot of its punch of how awesome it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I feel like I don't think I'm alone in the frustration. I think this release was poorly done, in my opinion. I actually
1,000%.
I actually prefer total darkness, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, pre-orders are on Saturday. Like, awesome.
Think about how amazingly awesome it would be right now if we were talking about the War of the Spider and all the things that it can do in 9th edition.
Yeah. I don't even bother looking at that stuff because I don't know what 9th
is. I don't look at anything online anymore because it's like, everything's
dead to me. Everything's dead until it comes out. So
they stole my one hobby.
They did. That's the thing is like, I don't know why they're not. They're also already said that they're going to do just like 8th edition and release the base rules free online so you can just have them. Dude, I can't imagine anybody is buying the pre-release of War of the Spider unless you're just a really big fan of that already, because you don't even know how it's going to interact now. So why would you bother?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally agree. Yeah.
And if the new rules were out, though, I'd be so geeked because I'd be like, how does that fit into a new 9th edition army?
Yeah, yeah. And we're all really excited. I mean, we were all, I mean, literally, honestly, I have waves. I have waves of excitement and non-excitement. If we literally went live an hour ago, before we went live, I was ready to talk. I was like ready to talk about blast weapons and flamer weapons and monsters and this and that. And then Brad's all like, hey, I got this coaching call I got to do, and give me some time. And I said, okay, cool. So then I went and did something else. And then when I came back, I was like,
no longer.
What's 40K? Just, why don't I have 9th? Why isn't it in front of me right now? Why isn't there a book right here? So, and then to add on to that, everything that's going on with the world right now, it's like, well, even if I did have it, it'd be hard to find someone to play with. I'd have to like drive to Toledo.
Fine, because we need it for events. I gotta have the books. I do get all the books. I have to say that I'm an idiot that buys all paperback stuff, but I would be more excited to do anything if I knew. Think about everybody just going. If I knew that this is how it's going to work in the new edition, it'd be fantastic. I mean, we got a bunch of new Death Guard stuff that came out that they leaked out.
Yep.
For the thing, the extra attack with plague knives, adding 6 to range of plague weapons, which is kind of fucking cool, actually.
Love me some plague
marines. That's the question is I have to ask because I didn't know. Are the plague grenades a plague weapon? So that means I can throw grenades an extra 6 inches, and then use the strat, and then get basically an extra 6 throws on a unit. So you have a unit that's 11 plus. I get 6 with every single grenade that I throw.
This camera sucks. I can't even show you this nice plague marine guy. I don't know, Brad. I don't know the answer to your question. You know why? Because I don't have the fucking rules. You do. So you tell me the answer to your own fucking question. Don't give me a half-assed question that you already know the answer to, and you're well aware that I have no clue.
I have to look through and see how they're listed now. That was kind of a question for myself. I gotta go find that out.
I will literally be on your porch in 4.5 hours, like with this, like just ready to beat you, like senseless, and steal whatever print you have in your home.
You know what I do like? We're gonna talk about this though. Ready? I'm reading the strat to you.
Ready.
A bedtime story. It's on the Warhammer community page. Either 1 or 3 CP. Use the stratagem for the battle. Select when you need a Harbinger Poxwalkers unit from your army for 1 or 2 Poxwalkers for 3. And then you can literally just set them up as scouts, basically. 9 inches away from battle edge, more than 9 inches away from any models. I actually think that's pretty sweet, man, because you can have pretty big Poxwalkers.
Yeah, you get a big Poxwalker unit.
And they've got a lot of different rando buffs and stuff, and you can literally take the board from people. And we've already talked about the missions coming out a little bit. I know there's so much salt here, but you should definitely have the salt shaker icon on both of you right now. It shouldn't even be on me, which is what it usually is.
Yeah, it should. I should definitely have the salt shaker on me right now. If I touched a steak, it would be like literally like dried.
I think a Feel No Pain unit that's infantry that can utilize the new terrain rules, that can take all the objectives and basically hold on everything, that starts way out. I think Plague Marines or Death Guard in general needed the ability to start far out.
Yep, I agree.
I love his voice, dude. This is true. Alan, just shut up and let the old man talk. He's going to spill it. He loves his voice too much not to.
I can't let that happen. I can't let that happen. Brad would go to jail probably. I don't know what would happen to him. Who knows? Who knows, man? We can't. We have to interrupt him every once in a while. What?
I mean, let's be honest. These headphones I have are just so I can actually hear just me.
I mean, you were one of the only people I've ever seen like put on headphones and go, "Oh man, my voice is awesome. Shut up, everybody. Let me talk."
I did do that. That is a true thing. You have Robert. I was actually testing. The first time him and I were on my stream and we played some WoW and stuff, and I messaged him. I go, "Hey man, the stream went pretty well. I listened to listened to it, and everything sounded pretty good." And he just sends me immediately back, "Do you look at a picture of yourself and you masturbate? Who watches themselves?"
Oh, I have a good segue here for some salt on Brad instead of me and Daniel here. Did you hear about the announcement Pro Tabletop made?
Mm-mm.
They're doing an all online tournament circuit.
Oh, I did see that, and fuck that.
So Daniel, the Pro Tabletop is a good group of guys, really good group of guys that I mean, I know Thomas really well, and I know he's pretty big in that group, so he's a great guy. They ran that $10,000 tournament you heard about here in Tennessee. Do you remember? Is Daniel still there?
He did.
Did Daniel like just glitch out of reality?
I think Daniel, either that or he's the silent most. He's like Drax. He's sitting so silent that you can't see him anymore.
You know what I would love to see right now? Like a fly, some kind of insect, like just jump and like go over his head right now. Like 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 if I had an animation of like a fly that could just go over his face, that would just be hilarious right now. It
doesn't matter. He has so much discipline. He will not move ever. Yeah. He's so shocked. He's frozen.
I don't know what to do right now. Like the Skype is fine. Oh, he just backed out of Skype. He quit Skype. He was like, "Guys, I'm done with you guys." Right
he's
now.
Like, "Screw you."
He's like, "Screw you guys."
I need 9th edition.
No more talkie.
It does feel like something they need to address pretty soon because I think they are actually they went from excitement to people being, okay, go ahead and put it out already, to actually people being angry that they don't have 8th to play.
I'm not
and
like,
they don't have 9th to play.
Yeah, I'm not like super angry or anything like that. Like I couldn't do it even if I wanted to. I would like to have the ability to at least get prepared for it. Like have a date, talk with some of the stores in my area, say, "Hey, here's the date. Can we book this date? Can we get 16 people in the store?" Because I know that there's like let's say we can't even do 50. Let's say it's less than 50. But if I can get a 16-person event or a 12-person event, 3-round, 4-round, on a Saturday in 2 locations, the following week I can have a finals round of the follow-up of those 2, and it becomes a 32-person event. It just takes place over the course of multiple locations and multiple days. So, but it'd be nice. I think we could do it.
100%, Wyatt. Hit me up on that. I definitely want to do that.
Yeah, it'd be fun, man. You can stay here too if you want when you come down for it. And like in Chicago, like you play some of the best players. We have really, really good players here. So
I don't know at all what happened, but I'm back.
Well, I did enjoy looking at the picture of you. You look very contemplative.
We talked about so Daniel, your face was like this.
Yeah.
So I was like, you just froze. Your internet's froze, right?
Yeah.
And I said, wouldn't it be funny if like he was just messing with us? Like he's just static, and then like we see a fly like come in and just like, go right on his face and then like fly off. So we know it's live video, but like you're just not saying. It'd be hilarious.
Like doesn't care.
I would have left.
Like,
I would have.
So
died.
slow, it's imperceptible. You can't see me.
I would have literally died right there of laughter. So. But we were talking about the Pro Tabletop.
I was planning to go to that, or we were talking about go to that.
So they're doing a new thing now where they're having an online event.
Yep.
On Tabletop Simulator, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'd like to get your thoughts on that, and Brad's actually. Yeah. I know Brad's a huge fan of competitive cash prize.
Dude. I fucking. By the way, can we take some sort of poll when Tabletop Simulator gets sued into another dimension by GW?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be so bad, like so
just,
bad.
Like play another company's game and just be like, fuck it, that's what we're doing now.
I don't know how I don't actually know how they get away with that, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how is that a thing?
I don't know. What's the difference between like people running tournaments on Tabletop Simulator and then like having a tournament? Go ahead, Daniel.
I don't see any problem with that at all. They don't supply any rules or anything. They just supply the board and dice.
But they give you all their units. All that stuff is copyrighted. They provide every single unit.
You mean the icons of the models?
Yeah, well, they're supposed to be exact. They're not even. It would be different if they just used everything as just a chit or something. But they actually have all their IP stuff. You know what I mean? They have Mephiston. They have exactly what they're called and the models that represent them. And I just can't imagine that's legal.
You know how I think it's legal, Brad? I don't think the company Tabletop Simulator does any of that stuff. I think it's all community driven. So some people in the community are building those files of the actual models, and they're probably going against the rules. But as far as Tabletop Simulator is created, I bet you they would just be like, we're not making anything. We just have a platform.
They're only supplying the board.
Yeah, they're literally supplying a platform, and then other people are providing code to create the models.
It just seemed like really wonky with me a little bit. But I could see if it was all community workshop driven.
Yeah, it's like uTorrent, right? Like uTorrent or whatever is like a platform to basically download pirated torrents. But like then the internet has torrents.
It's the platform to steal things.
Yeah, it's the platform to steal things. But then like the internet has the torrents. You get torrents from other people. Someone somewhere has an actual copy of whatever it is, and there's a torrent that copies it for anybody else in the world who wants it, and then they use a platform to do it. You can't go and sue uTorrent or like a company for that because it's people. So that's interesting, though. I don't know.
What do you guys think about the fact that we've had so many things released in the last couple weeks? Like, for instance, the Warlord trait Eater Plague. When an enemy model is destroyed at the start of an attack made with a melee weapon by this Warlord, you can regain a lost wound to a maximum of 3 per phase. And then we had the Corn one. We've had several things where they're doing it so bigger characters can basically regen.
It's called we have a bucket of Age of Sigmar rules. Let's roll a d6 and figure out which one we want to pull out of this bucket and put it in 40k. Those are all 40k. Those are all Age of Sigmar like
I 100%.
Character
they took all the things that people like from Sigmar and they're putting into 40k. But I'm saying, do you like those being in 40k?
Yeah, I love them
because I think
they're awesome.
I want my characters to have more, just more survivability. Because one, I think it's cool when I have my named guy or my whatever that he has more time on the board, basically.
Yeah, it makes it way more narrative. I think Titanic things are going to get hit in other ways in the new rules, so giving them the ability to have some special stuff is cool. So, Daniel,
I think it sounds good, but it's really hard to understand how it affects the game since we don't have the rules. But I mean, if it was the same as 8, it would be really cool, right? It's like the stuff they did with Gaskell, just adding more.
What died? What murdered in Brad's house right there? Like there was a door that just crashed. That was crazy.
Because we live right off the water. Summer's here, so every door in my house is swelling up just a little bit. So everything sounds super loud when you open and close.
And Daniel, your camera, you look like you have like a vintage filter on your video.
He's got it's one that's new. It's called the Trump-esque filter.
Oh man, that's so good.
Bad internet.
Yeah, you have bad internet, but it's okay. You're in the middle of nowhere. So.
Corey says that he thinks that those kind of abilities are win more. I don't know about that. It depends on how many model. If you've got a 16 wound, I think the bigger guys needed that though, 100%, because they just lose the war of attrition. I actually don't, and this might be a unpopular opinion. I don't like declining profiles. I think if you spend that much money, which is actually money, but points. And both, basically, because those models are usually very expensive. I don't like declining profiles. I think that the model should just operate as is, because nothing else is. I mean, all those character models and other things like that start with basically 9 or less wounds operate completely fine. But if I get a 10th wound, I now suck if I take 5 wounds.
I like it. I like degrading profiles. I think they create like a narrative. They make sense too. So
yeah,
the reason why the guy without 9 wounds didn't get a degrading profile is because he died. Like he straight up died, right? Like the way I look at it is like Troy. Like if you go back and watch Troy, right, with Brad Pitt, they're in a fight, right? And there's a bunch of punks who just die right away. They get cut and they're just dead, right? Those are your 9 wounds and less. And then there's big mofos who get stabbed in the arm and they get stabbed in the back and they have an arrow in their thigh and they get a freaking knife through the stomach and they're like pulling the knife in. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the guys with like 18 wounds who they're still kicking ass out there, but as they're taking more damage, they're getting weaker. So,
Brett's excited
you should
about
update your video gallery to have good movies.
What? My video? Troy? You don't like Troy? Where's the kick out of Skype button on here?
Kick out of Skype.
Seems like we have some technical difficulties with Daniel's camera. I guess everyone could have a good day.
Alan's just going to replace you with a picture of Brad Pitt from Troy.
Yeah, are you serious? Come on, man. Is there no one else? Is there no one else? It's like
all my logic is derived from Brad Pitt movies.
Dude, Brad Pitt. That's my guy, dude.
Yes, that's why no one will remember your name.
That's why. That is the best quote.
Who wakes up from an orgy, talks shit to a little kid,
and then
just goes out and just fucking faces an army, basically Big Dick Jones
nukes
and then just, dude, and that's not even the thing. Him killing the one big guy isn't the best thing he does. The best thing he does is when he looks at the rest of them and a giant army assembled and just like, what? Is there no one else? Like, you're like, dude, you're by yourself. You're like,
what happened to Daniel's internet? Jesus, Daniel, your internet just got good. Let me put your face somewhere else. You're literally full screen on our podcast right now.
Love it.
What happened?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
I love the fact that we gave you an applause for not having technical issues at least.
Yes, exactly.
No, this is you. This is you, man. This is all your bandwidth. This is all your bandwidth right here. Don't even get me started, bro. My bandwidth is fine. Look at my face right here. It's perfect. There's no.
Indeed, Werner. It's a bunch of. We should be called sexy gentleman gaming.
No, but I can't believe you don't like Troy. But anyways, degrading profiles, Brad. I like him for that reason. I think they provide that narrative in the movie. If that big dude, if he just went down, that would be lame, right? I mean, I also like Korn degrading profiles where they get better, because I love that game with the Lord of Skulls. Yep. And I got the Lord of Skulls, and he's like, "How many wounds does the Lord of Skulls have left?" I'm like, 3. He's like, "Oh, so he's probably not that good in combat anymore." I'm like. I'm gonna open the book for this one. So
Jonas, I don't think the big bases cause that much of a problem on the new tables. You do have smaller deployment zones, so if you brought Daniel's old army of like 1 billion flesh hounds, it becomes a little bit weird. But besides that, not really.
Yeah.
Lord of Skulls, indeed.
No, I that's one thing I can talk about, Brad. You know, I posted online about, the 44 by 60 table thing, and I got a lot of like people coming on like, that's never going to happen. I'm like, dude, just count the squares. But there's so many people like adamantly against that. It would either it's not a thing and the squares don't matter, or they were saying that nobody would ever go to it. And now, like recently, like the last couple of days after I've gotten rid of everyone who's political on Facebook, I see a bunch of people posting like, "Hey, here's how I cut my board. Here's how I cut my mat. Here's how I made extra stuff with my." I'm like, yeah, people are going through with it. I'm excited. I'm really pumped about the smaller table.
5 stages of grief.
Yeah, it's so true. Right? Yeah, they got mad at me. Then they were denying me. Like then they were like crying in a corner while they're cutting their mat. Like, I paid so much money for this.
You should have went with what Snigs did. Snigs is literally making mat condoms, basically, that make it sized up.
I mean, Snigs is really good at condoms, right? After so many kids, he's like, nah, I'm done. I gotta.
Well, he did one, and it was twins, and he was like, screw this.
Yeah, I'm out. Nah, there's no way, bro. We're taking care of this. So.
Do you guys think they're going to change the range of weapons since they're making the table smaller?
I honestly don't think they will. I'm excited to see what engagement zone means, though. I want to know, is that like Age of Sigmar? Brad's going to stay quiet now. I want to know if that's like Age of Sigmar, where characters in Age of Sigmar can all reach different amounts. Like you got a guy with a lance, he can reach 3 inches into combat. You got a guy with whatever, he can reach 4 inches. Some Bloodthirsters can reach 4 inches, but like a regular dude with a sword reaches 1 inch. So I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think that's really, really cool. So the idea of engagement zone is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be really good.
And I honestly
sometimes feel that's
yeah, he hates me. And I honestly don't think, Daniel, that they'll change the range of range weaponry. I don't think they'll change those ranges, to be honest, because I think the entire intent of making the board smaller is to make the game go quicker. If they make the board smaller and then shorten the ranges of weapons, they're basically creating the same general game, right? The board's still too big then. So I think it's going to stay as is, and you're going to have a harder time hiding against stuff like we used to strategize in the past.
I mean, it has different implications, right?
So, of course, yeah.
What they do when they shorten the board is they make short ranged weapons a lot better because you don't need the long range anymore.
Correct.
So assault cannons and
36 inches is like the new mecha, right? Like 36 inches is going to be what 48 was, right? And you're going to look at 60 inches like I don't have to measure ever. Like there's no more like thing.
I'm definitely going to measure basilisk shots though.
Basilisk. You know what they should do at tournaments is if you bring a basilisk, if you bring a basilisk, you can shoot another table. You have to roll a 6, and then you can shoot any table in range.
No, we all do it as a team. I'm like, Daniel, I'm having a tough time on my table.
Dude, I need an orbital. No, it's like playing Call of Duty, and you're just marking the airstrike, right? You're just like marked right there, that tank. Like here's my laser, and you're shooting from that table. I've actually been in tournaments that had crazy rules like that. Not exactly that one, but those are fun. Where you can impact other tables. That's cool.
A couple guys said about deployment and stuff like that. You can't put a knight on a ruin anyways. Still doesn't work. They just have reach. They did talk about that the engagement rule was still 1 inch, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, you know why they added engagement range in the first place though? They're just priming you guys. They're getting you guys ready for the 1 inch right now, and then 10th edition will come out after Phantom Edition number 2, and hopefully that won't happen. But 10th edition will come out, and all of a sudden you'll have ranges.
Plus, also, Alan, they don't tell you all the rules when they tell us the rules. So they've told us it's 1 inch, but it could just as well be 3 inches if you have.
Who knows?
Preach on, my brother. Who knows? Preach on.
I mean, Brad knows, but.
But the thing is what bugs me, and actually tell you the truth.
Do they tell him everything?
Look more. No,
they don't tell him everything either.
I don't even get the final copy. I told you guys that. But what bugs me right now is when I'm talking to you guys, how much better would it be if we just knew whenever they basically give a leak, why don't they give the whole leak? You know what I mean? So we can talk about how that affects things as opposed to going, sometimes you make a charge and the charge is, we're not going to let you know how far away you can charge. Just you got to roll dice.
Yeah. So bad, dude. But anyways.
And Night Dragoons, Cattle Proud are a bunch of book junkies. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't understand their strategy of releasing the game either, because if we had the game now, I would take all my vacation money and run and buy a lot of stuff.
100%.
Instead,
100%.
I'm not spending $1 on 40K right now.
It's just crazy. I don't get it.
And then if they release it when everything is open, I'm going to go on vacation instead of buying your 9th edition. Like I'm going to go to some nice beach somewhere.
No, but just think about how excited you are. You're just coming out of we're opening up just a little bit. You know what I mean? And now you can get a new army and play on a small tournament. You know what I mean? Even a local thing.
Oh, dude, Richard has a really funny point, Brad. I think we should definitely do that. So for people who actually listen to us on a regular basis, they'll know that it's up. We should have a whole podcast just before 9th comes out where we say we have the rules and we show a rule book, but then we say a whole bunch of rules that don't exist. Like, I think that'd be amazing, right? Like, and we don't even have the book yet, right? Because like if we actually had the book, we would want to talk about real stuff. But we probably have a call between all of us, right? Like a private one where we make up a whole bunch of crap. And then we have a whole live cast where we talk about the crap as if it's real, showing a fake real book. I think that'd be amazing. You just have to make sure that if we bring up anything and it actually is real, you tell us not to talk about that one.
No, you bring that up and I'll be like, that's so stupid. That'll never be a rule.
Oh, okay.
I'll poo on all the, that's how we'll know. Corey's got my favorite.
Oh, we should totally do that.
What great catastrophe will 10th edition follow?
Nothing, bro. From now on, every video game ever made for the rest of history will include select your difficulty, easy, medium, hard, 2020. and that will be basically what you can
2020.
select. Like that will be the reign. I don't even know what's coming next. Like I made a post a couple of days ago on Facebook that if we're literally fighting like the kaiju out of like Jaegers by the end of the year, I won't be surprised. Like if there's some giant alien attack.
Use the sword right away.
I don't know why he took so long to pull out the sword. Me and Molly were talking about that at his house. Like this seemed kind of crazy.
It's like, oh yeah, this kills everyone instantaneously. I should have started with this. It seems way better. I still love our motto. I had asked that a bunch of things. Actually, what do you guys think about this? This is a tournament thing. Now, I got asked what, because he didn't want to be calling TOs over all the time, but he also wanted to have a good time, but also didn't want to get cheated. And he hadn't been playing tournaments that much. And my advice was to say before the game that this is how I play. You know, I'm going to play by intent. You can take takebacks, but I expect things to go back and forth. And just basically say it before the thing. What would you say to people asking you the question of, I don't want to be cheated, but I also want to have a good time. How do I go about that with strangers, basically?
I don't know. It really depends. Daniel, you go first because you're basically going to say, in Sweden, we don't have assholes. Go ahead.
No, in Sweden, we don't have assholes. But no, I think it would work to have that open and frank discussion about it. Because then at least, you know, if your opponent goes, well, I don't like that. That's not my play style. I want to play hardcore, you know, no takebacks, no intent, etc., etc. At least then it's, you know, the Pandora's box is open. Then you know what to expect.
Yeah, but you never know that. You never know that until they do it, right? You never know that. No one's up front like that, Daniel. They'll say like, oh.
But yeah, if I ask you that though, if I say, hey, Alan, I'm Brad, blah blah blah. This is the kind of game I hope to play. Do you agree? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because at least sets the, you know, precedent of what we're going to do for the game. You know what I mean? You can't, you know, hold them to it. It's like a contract, but it is a social contract when you ask.
So, oh, damn, dude. I wish he didn't say cup of water. Did you say cup of water or bottle water? I mean, it's a water cup.
It was a bottle.
It's supposed to be a bottle. Bottle. That's the joke, man. Get it right. So, Daniel, my problem with your explanation is very rarely does your opponent go, oh, no, man, I'm going to play as is. You know, that's how I play. But it's very rare. Like, I know maybe two people that are open and honest about that. And they're going to say, listen, no takebacks. I play by the rules to the law. You bring down your reserves in the middle of your moving phase is done, period, right? Like, there are a couple people who are upfront about it, which is fine. I'm cool with those people. Those people are fine with me. That is totally cool. What I'm not cool with is the guy who's like, oh, yeah, dude, no problem. Sounds good, blah, blah, blah. And then on turn 3, after they've forgotten 7 things and moved things a little too far and been out of range here and there and questionable line of sights, and you're like, yeah, go ahead, yeah, go ahead, yeah, go ahead, yeah, go ahead, yeah, go ahead. On turn 3, you make a mistake. And they're like, nah, man, now it's important. This mistake is the game. All of the other mistakes I made, those were not the game. Those were just small, little sloppy mistakes. But this one is the whole game. I can't give you this one.
You've already talked, though. But if you set the precedent at the beginning
of the game. No, it doesn't matter.
He's
not giving it to you. He's not giving it to you. What are you going to do, fight him now? You're going to have an argument with him at the table? I mean, you could if you want. You know, you could if you want. But then what happens to you? What happens to you at the end of the game?
I get thrown out of the tournament.
No, not actually fist fighting the guy over toy soldiers. I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like all of us own too much property to do that. We'll have a lien on our property. Forget that. So I mean, unless you take care of business for real. I mean, we can talk about that off air.
Don't be a Tony. I gotta love that actually.
But what I'm saying is like no, actually, Tony is an example of an awesome dude. Tony Grippando is one of the most upstanding people I've ever met, not in 40K, but in general, like in life. He is one of the most upstanding dudes, period. And he will straight up tell you, I'm playing it this way. And he will play it that way for him and for the other guy.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, he likes that. Did he make a questionable decision at LVO when he could have won the entire ITC? Yeah, but that's a lot of pressure. Let's see if you get there, and let's see what kind of decisions you make and what kind of character you have. I thought he handled himself very well. And he's one of those 2 people I was mentioning that, to be honest, straight up guy. Plays the game very straight. Like, he's not an intent guy, but he's upfront about that. What I get mad about people who are not upfront about that, and then literally the actual sentence is, well, if I give you this take back, it's the whole game. Yeah, but
Neil just put that in the comments. He says that he hates that because he plays the whole game by it, but then the last time that happens, he calls them out. Then they reply, but it's important now.
Yeah, like for example, I can give you real life examples, right? Like I moved 23.6 inches into a psyker for deny, and I really needed a power to go off. And I roll it, I get like a 9 or a 10, and I'm like, okay, cool, power's off, we're good. He's like, oh, you're in deny. And I'm like, oh, I meant to be out of deny, my bad. Can I move it a millimeter back or half an inch back, whatever? I really did mean to be out of deny. Obviously, I'm just trying to play fast right now because it's the end of the game, and I'm trying to play within my clock. And he goes, well, you're in deny. And then I'll say something like, because I don't want to have a confrontation. I'll say, well, let's see what you roll, right? Just to see what would happen, because we can avoid the entire thing if he doesn't roll a 9 or 10, right? Because I rolled a 9 or 10.
And he rolls an 11.
And then he rolls an 11 or a 12. And now it's like a big deal. Now it's like, oh my God, if I give this up now, I'm just giving away the game. And that's not really what's happening. You're trying to win off of a technicality of me trying to play fast. And if you gave me the same respect I gave you for the last 3 turns, this would not happen. Right, and this is the problem I have with some of those things.
We all agree with you, Alan, but the problem is if you're going to coach a new guy how to handle this on tournaments, how should what
I would coach the new guy this way. I would say you play by intent. I think you should play by intent because as a person who has a very sketchy reputation in 40K, that's me. I know how hard it is to clean up your reputation. I know how hard it is to make someone think you're not a cheater when someone walks away from a game calling you a cheater. I know how hard it is if you make a mistake picking up dice the wrong way or something after you've been playing, 4 rounds in a single day and you're tired and everyone's yelling at you to go, right? Like I know how difficult it is to come back from those things. So what I would say to anyone starting off in 40K is we have an extremely toxic behind the scenes community, right? It's a great community in America. It's a great community. It's a bunch of really good dudes that I really like a lot. Like I have no problems with anybody, even the most notorious people who have the worst reputations. I really don't have any problems with them at all. But the problem is behind people's back, things get said, and it's really hard to come back from those things. So a new player, I would say, play by intent all the time. If something sketchy happens, call a judge. And if you get into any type of rules, things that seem a little sticky or you made a mistake, own up to them as soon as you can. I've seen a lot of really good players own up to things on Facebook recently. I played this wrong. I played that wrong. I think that's the right way about going about doing it right now, being very open and honest about mistakes you're making and not just thinking that you handled it at the table. Because a lot of times I thought we had an argument. I handled it at the table. But really what happened is I probably overtalked the guy, right? Or I bullied him. And I didn't even know that walking away. And then they left with a sour taste and they said, oh, all these bad things that never really happened, but they want to save face when they go to dinner. I would say play by intent and just play it calm.
Think about half the reason we started this stuff. We wanted to go on a format that basically promoted playing by intent and having fun games as opposed to bullshit games. So you could have great stories as opposed to shitty stories.
Yeah. I mean, even some of my shitty stories are hilarious. But like it's you just gotta realize that it's gonna happen to everybody. Get ready for it and walk away thinking, I handled it the best I could. That's it,
Yep.
I can see. It's like with the thing that I've been doing more so because I used to get just yelled at consistently because I let too much shit go by. So Sparks would be just all over me and just stop letting everything happen.
Well, you also play super chill. You're always like really like just very chill in the game.
I just want to have fun, man. Because the whole thing where I didn't like when I played on the tabletop simulator and shit like that was I'm like, oh, why do I play this? And then the first day I went back over to Sniggs's and we ate tacos. I had some wine and we played 40K with real models. I was like, oh yeah, because I like hanging out with my friends and having a competitive game while enjoying shit and talking. That's the whole point. Fuck it. Hey, Tom's in the house. What?
Speaking of cheating, Brad, another thing we can do during Phantom 40K, I wouldn't mind doing this. We can make a cheating episode because we're in Phantom 40K, right? I mean, we're all in Phantom 40K. I think something that will not go away 8th to 9th, 7th to 8th, 6th to 7th, 5th to whatever, every edition of all time, even when you play Monopoly, people cheat. People just cheat. It's just going to happen, right? I can probably share a million ways of how people have cheated me in the past and how I have cheated people when they're cheating me. Because I've had multiple games where, like, the person I'm playing is cheating hardcore. I have two options. One, call a judge and try to get them to stop cheating. Or two, out-cheat them. Those are your options. I'm sorry to say it. This competitive 40K, I'll just let you know how it's been in the past, especially at ETC. I saw some Russian comments in there. So those are your options. You can either out-cheat them or you can get a judge. Obviously, here's what I would recommend you do. Number one, try to deal with it yourself. Hey, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. You're doing this wrong. If it persists, get a judge. If the judge comes in and it still persists and the judge doesn't have any ability to do anything about it, sometimes at ATC back in the day, now it's up to you to do something about it. You can either stop the game, get involved in the game, or just straight out cheat the guy in the game back. Those are your options. Do you remember the time in Nova I was pocketing dice? I love
so it's just about. I
love that. That's probably the only story I've ever actually done that. But that's my favorite.
I'll give you from the other person watching when I ask about the game later. Oh, so fantastic. When you literally look at the guy, Alan's literally taking his dice and either throwing them away or putting them in his pocket because he's just rolling too many dice each time. And
he's like rolling too many dice. He's making up rules. He's moving units too fast. I'm pretty sure his list was over points. Like, it was just a number of things. And, like, I was just getting kind of, like, bullied at the table. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I got to do something about this. So it's like every time he rolled a wound, I'm like, I'll roll your dice. And just like 7 of them went in my pocket and I rolled the rest. So it's just like sleight of hand the whole time. And then, like, at a certain point, he's like, where are all my dice? And Brad was like watching that game.
Yeah, and he literally hands them back eventually. He goes, oh yeah, I got him over here because I just thought you were we're just trying to see who could cheat the most with that. So here you go, here's your dice back. Just like basically you got put in the timeout, and here's your dice back.
Yeah, the best part was he's like, how was I cheating? I'm like, well, you were doing this and this and this, and he's like, oh, okay, all right, I'm gonna go this way.
Ooh, I actually want to ask this question because Wyatt put out something. He goes, I think passive cheating is actually the biggest problem.
100%.
Because it's the act of not in action. You know what I mean? When you don't tell your opponent what it actually is.
I have a theory that no games goes without cheating.
I believe 100%. I think everybody fucks something up.
Yeah, like.
Well, it depends. It depends. Intention, not intention. It depends on like what kind of cheating.
So the stuff we need to find is the intentional cheating because everyone cheats all the time. Like you move models a little bit too far. You know, there's stuff you misinterpret rules.
Yeah. There's a local guy.
For a stratagem, you were 100% sure it was only one, etc. It happens. All the time.
Yeah. Brian's got it right. He goes, cheating equal intention. I believe that 100% because we didn't even play the goddamn right mission, so we definitely messed something up during the game also.
Yeah.
But what do you do? What do you do when someone's rolling too many dice? Like, you know that they have 18 shots with a gun, but you're constantly catching them with 19, 20. Or because like they're picking them up real fast. So I always count to see what's going on, or I do math. I watch them where they put their misses. I do stuff like that during the game, and when I see it, I don't know how to react. Sometimes I say, "Hey, you rolled an extra dice," but then they always go, "Oh, my bad, accident."
Just you roll. You actually then what you do is you just do a community set of dice, so you know how many are there in the first place. Yeah. So effectively, you put 20 dice on the table or whatever number that you want, and then you basically just see how many dice are in the not rolled section.
Yeah, but don't you think they're just going to do other stuff elsewhere then? Because like I know from the guy, like I'll be like, hey, you rolled 4 dice more than you were supposed to. I just counted it. No, I didn't. All right, well, hold the dice. Let's count them. We count them and they're wrong, and you could just tell by their reaction that they knew they were wrong from the beginning. They didn't want to count the dice. Like they knew for a fact that they were cheating. But like you can't. There's nowhere you can go with the conversation. It feels almost like a stalemate. And then what happens is people just talk about people behind their backs, and like that's all that really comes out of it, you know. And then you don't even know. Like I've had people come up to me and go, "Hey, the guy you're playing next is a cheater. Watch out for XYZ." And then I play the guy, and he's perfectly fine, no issues.
But that's the thing, is you can count down on that. That's my thing. Is I've been trying to do with just people I don't know, and I know a ton of the people now in the community, so I don't have to do anything because I'm old. So,
I mean, how could you cheat though? You tell other people to move your models. You're like, hey, put these guys now.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Obviously, you don't go to the modern. You don't go fully Brad because I am too lazy. You can always say something's out of line of sight with me because I'll never bend down to check it out because I may not come back up.
Yeah.
So, but the thing with me is with strangers and stuff, and I've done this a ton with Neil on that, is that like when I go to WDC and stuff like that, especially when you have people that you may have a language barrier with, I just start the game off with, this is how I play, and then let's use a community pool of dice with X amount of dice or whatever. And that it basically, even if the guy is a cheater, and I assume everybody isn't, but it just gives them less options of ways that they could fuck over my game and make me not have fun. So if I limit the availability of things that you could do that are shitty, then I just have less things that could go wrong. Because Daniel and I are sitting down and we have 20 dice on the table that we're both using, and we start the game and we both agree that we're going to play by intent. If you said something, go ahead and do it slightly later. You know what I mean? Not a psychic phase 2 say, 2 turns later, but you know what I mean? He's about to do something.
You're laying out a foundational layer of like how to approach it, and I think we all agree with it. I think there's just too many cracks in it. Even you yourself, I know I can name games right now. I can name people right now that you've had games with that have reversed the way the tournament went because there have been cracks in this foundation that you put forward, and those just happen more often than I think people really understand. And like none of this stuff happens at top table. Like all the top guys are not really doing this kind of stuff. This is happening more in the earlier rounds, more in the mid-table range area, and I see it more and more, especially when I finish games early and I go watch other games. I see some shady stuff sometimes. So Neil made a comment: get a judge, right? Don't pussyfoot around and get a judge. How many games have you been in where you've gotten a judge to fix cheating and you had a fun time for the next 2 hours?
Oh, that's my thing. That's why I try to set it up in the beginning, and like that's how I also. Yeah. Yes, my system is not foolproof, and I have gotten fucked over. But I played a zillion games in the last 20-some years of 40K, and I have a handful of shit ones. So, it works most of the time, and I'd rather just have fun and just deal with 1 or 2 times that I get screwed here and there, and to make most of my games be cool and something I could talk about and have a fun time about.
I could honestly say that every game I've ever called a judge for on like a cheating issue, like it's always escalated to like a horrible 2 hours or like a horrible rest of the game experience. Hopefully it's towards the end. I mean, but at LVO, I had issues turn 1 against one of my opponents who just wanted to shoot everything. Like there's no buildings on the table at all. I can see whatever I want to see. And we had a judge come over, and literally the judge sat at the table the entire game telling my opponent, no, you can't see that. No, you can't. No, even if you move full, you can't see that. Like literally the whole game, which created just like a bad tone for like everything. So I don't know what's a good solve. Even getting a judge sometimes isn't a good solve. Maybe judges need to be prepared to talk to the person, say, hey, you're here for these reasons. Like you're not in trouble or anything like that. I think people get super defensive the moment you get a judge sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I hate calling judge, but I do like strong judges more than nonsense judges. I mean, I'll give Neil props 100% here because he ends up coming to you. I mean, think about the number of people you've seen get carded at ETC/WTC.
Yeah. No, Neil's like a diamond in the rough. Neil's like this other
right.
dude, though.
You might be right technically, but you're only doing this to be a dick. So here's a card. You know what I mean? 1,000%, you're just being an asshole.
Yeah. No, I think Neil handles things pretty well. The way the ETC has gone in the last 5 years is night and day from where it was in the early 2010s. So Pam says I don't know the rules. He's pretty much right.
So. That's why I get whoa.
Only Brad knows the rules. So
no. Pam's is talking about like any edition ever since I've been playing, and he's probably right. I
always know Forge World. Because I never knew anything.
Yeah, I do know Forge World stuff. I know some.
Literally
some
before I go to tournament, back in the old days, especially when Forge World was only in a couple tournaments, I would literally call Alan and be like,
I got a story.
Hey, what's this mean?
Yeah, Brad would always call me for Forge World stuff. I got a story for Corey. Corey goes, I hate the 4+ stuff. Oh, I got a story for you, Corey. And this is a story for Neil, too. Because Neil's like, oh, call a judge. Judges handle everything. And Neil just thinks all judges are, I don't know, half the man he is. And they're not. They're not. I saw a tournament, Neil and Corey, where a dude goes, hey, we agreed that I boxed out my back edge. right? Like we agreed the 9 inches can't happen. And the dude teleported a unit in his background. And the judge comes over and judge is like, well, I didn't see how things were before, so I don't know what the situation was. But if you guys agreed to it that you couldn't put a unit there, and then all of a sudden there was a spot for a unit, you should probably go on whatever you agreed to. But since I wasn't here, and there's 2 different stories, I can't really evaluate it. So we got to 4+ it. So
at that point in time, can you ask the judge though? Does say, if he says already that why don't you go by what you agreed on previously?
No,
why don't?
But this judge wasn't Neil. This judge wasn't Neil. This judge didn't have a spine.
Said we didn't agree.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying, but I'm saying if
I don't know. I don't even
to say he agrees though. That's my point. Is if they both agreed to it already, do you even need to go any farther?
So the actual story is I didn't. The guy goes. He said there wasn't room for 9 inches, and I agreed with him that if there wasn't room for 9 inches, I couldn't bring anything. But when I actually went to go check it, there was. So that's kind of how this whole thing happened. So they 4+'d it, right? The guy that was on the side of I blocked it out and we agreed. The guy that said that I blocked out my zone and we agreed, won the roll, right? But he was really mad that they even had to do the 4+. He was like, I'm so mad that even a 4+ happened, just like Corey mentioned in our comment thread. So like this other guy got really mad that he lost the roll. So he started bitching and complaining and whining, and he was like moving models quickly, whatever. Anyways, long story short, the next turn, the guy that won the roll, the guy who was in the right, I think, based on me viewing this game, I was watching this game, and he was right. They did agree to it. I saw it. He basically picks up a unit, puts them in close combat with another unit on the other side of the board, and then he calls a judge over immediately. I swear to God this happened. And the judge goes, the same judge, he goes, I wasn't here, so I don't. And the guy's like, he literally picked up the unit and like moved it 36 inches and put it here. Like they weren't here. He's like, no. He tells the judge, he lies. He lies to the judge, the guy who was in the right. He lies to the judge and he goes, no. They came from reserves from 9 inches, and I just made the charge. And he's arguing that they weren't there, but they were clearly there. They were in this building on the first ruin. And the judge is like, well, I wasn't here, so you guys got to roll a 4+. I swear to God, it's a true story. It's a true story. I wasn't here, so you guys got to roll 4+. So the guy who won the last roll is like, all right, I'll roll it. So he rolls it. He gets a 4+. The judge walks away, and then he looks at his opponent. He goes, this is the problem with TOs. I'm just joking. I'm not actually charging you. And he pulled the unit back and put it in the back corner. That actually happened at a tournament. I'm not going to name the tournament, but that really did happen. That was a 4+ thing that the judge did. And I want Neil to hear that because he thinks all judges are awesome. And not all judges
the thing, if you're judging though, if you're consistent in the way that you handle it with every table and all people, I just hate when I also hear the same thing judged differently at different tables, and or nothing happens to somebody that's clearly fucking up. That's actually what I hate. Just take a tan in it. I mean, I think we get spoiled. Good job, Neil. We'll pat you on the head a little bit more. But man, it's so much different when you play with judges that don't do shit and judges that actually know their shit and will do shit.
Yeah.
There's nothing I like hearing more than people go, or like Curtis, when he sees my game happening multiple times versus certain persons, and goes, oh man, let me tell you all the ways that you got cheated that game. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's information I could have used, in the game. Why are you telling me this now? Judges weren't going to do anything anyways.
Yeah.
Why?
I think when judges get involved and there's a third party that's not involved in the game or not a friend of either player, like a close friend of someone, I think that's that's kind of the important part. And I think that needs to happen more, where they actually get involved in the game. I think the idea where like judges can't get involved even if they see something wrong is ridiculous. Like if you see a foul, you call the foul. If you see pass interference, you call pass interference, right? You can, and unlike other sports, this one you can literally prove it. You can be like, this is what you did wrong. Here are the actual rules, and here's what you did. And they stop it, because literally whole games are decided by misrepresentation of the rules or someone not knowing or someone actively doing something wrong. So, all right, we're going to switch over to final comments. Daniel, I'm gonna hold you for last because you're the sexy Swede. I will go first. Sorry for everyone about being super negative. I'm just super mad about being in the phantom zone of 40K right now, where we don't have an edition. And I get constant phone calls from Aaron Toller about playing a game of 9th, but we don't have 9th rules, so it's like I don't even know what game we would play. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm gonna get hyped as I make models. So, Brad, how about you?
I just want everybody to play by intent, and I think that people need to get involved. I think the judges need to actively judge, and I actually want to always play on the stream table because I think it makes people play more honest because you're literally being viewed, and you can also look back and see if you're playing on that.
As long as you don't have any water bottles, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But you can, whether you believe that happened or not, you can always just watch the video. It was on stream. It's recorded. Just saying. Hello, Helen.
Daniel.
I think I'll until as long as we're in the Phantom Zone, I think I'll pick up noodling.
Some noodling for those still watching. Thanks for watching. But also, we were talking about noodling earlier. I recommend you go out and do some research on YouTube about.
I'm gonna try wine noodling in my pool. Just stick out the arm and see if I get a ball.
You might catch the wrong kind of noodle. The wrong
works
kind of
every
noodle.
time.
So, but all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for everything. You guys are the best.